Hello and welcome to How2R. This is a video series where we're using R for your basic data analytics needs. And in this video, we're going to take a look at scatter plots. Scatter plots are a great way to visualize the relationship or correlations between two variables. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at the total price for a sale and the profit of that sale and looking at the relationship between those. Since this is a sale, we're going to be talking about currency. I want to be able to format my x-axis and y-axis to be in currency. And in order to do that, I need to first load my scales library. So I'm just putting this here. Normally at the top of my script is where I'd load all of my libraries needed for that script, but just indicating here that I do have scales loaded, and that's needed in order to be able to format in currency. So to create a scatter plot, what we're going to do is we're going to use ggplot, which is a more advanced plotting tool in R rather than the base R. And ggplot is part of the tidyverse library, which I already have loaded. So we're going to issue the ggplot command. We're identifying the data frame that we're pulling data out of. And the aesthetics here, what we're doing is we're identifying the X values and Y values for our plot. X is going to be the total price column, and Y is going to be the profit column. So we're going to map each of those. There's a different dimension to the additional dimensions to the ggplot command. So each across or in between each of the dimensions, I add this plus sign to indicate that there's another part of the command. And next line is my geom point, indicating that this is going to be a scatter plot. So we're telling ggplot what type of plot we want to create. And here we're identifying what we want the fill color to be. We want to fill in each of those dots using a color of dark green, and the size is going to be a 0.6. So those are variables. You can try different variables to see what size you like. Next dimension, then I'm identifying my labels. Here I want to have a chart title, profit by sales total, my x-axis label, and my y-axis label. And then also here, another component is that I'm identifying that I want to format my x-axis and y-axis labels in currency. So I'm identifying the labels are going to be using the scales library, the dollar format. And then finally, I want this to be a minimal theme. So when I control enter, it's going to create the plot. And over here on the plots tab, we can see that the scatter plot is created. If I click on zoom, I can make this a little bit larger and open a new window to make this larger, and I can see what the plot looks like. And we can see that both the x-axis and the y-axis are formatted as currency, and I have my labels on each of the chart as well as each of the axis labels. So what if I wanted to do something different here? And let's say I wanted to close this window first. So next, I want to modify this a bit, and I want to be able to center the chart title, right? By default, the chart title is left-centered. All I have to do is just add one more dimension to that command, and that's going to be part of the theme where I want that plot title. I want that the element text of that plot title. I want that to be centered. So I'm setting defining the horizontal justification to be a 0.5. So it's going to be in the center of my plot. So when I execute this command, I can see that now the title is centered rather than left justified. One more thing I want to show you here is that by default, we're seeing each of the values that's plotted in a filled-in circle. We can change the shape of that. So let's say I want to use a filled-in triangle. So what I do then is I modify the command, and I'm going to use a shape. So here I'm saying shape 17 is a filled-in triangle, and the size, I want to use a size 3 triangle. So when I execute this command, it's going to redraw redraw my plot, and using, rather than filled in circles, it's using filled in triangles. So we can see that the shape has changed right there. All right, so this was a quick example of using ggplot to create scatter plots. We created a basic scatter plot, we centered the title, and then we tried different shapes. So give this a try and try different variables here, or try different values to see which works best to demonstrate or to show off your data. I'm going to cut that last part out. So give this a try. See, and go ahead. So give this a try and try different shapes and different sizes too.